Hey there, this is Grandpa Jim coming to you again. And since it's summer, or getting close to it, I think it's time to go through the car a little bit and get you ready to go on your next road trip. So if you come with me, we're take a look and see the things you want to check, things you want to take along with you, and things to consider before you go on that road trip. So the first thing is very easy, and things that you should be checking on a monthly basis. You should have one of these in your car. Either one works very well. You can also get one that is a digital one. These are air pressure gauges. Something else that you should have in your car before you go on your road trip is you should have at least 1 quart of oil. Make sure it is the correct kind for your car. I will show you how to check that later on. A bottle of antifreeze, preferably full strength antifreeze, because you can mix it with water. And then the other thing you want to make sure that you have is you want to make sure you have a spare tire and a jack with you. We're going to look at that in a little bit too. So let's get started and let's go through the first couple things you want to check, and then you should be checking on a monthly basis at a minimum. So first thing we're going to check is our oil. Most engine compartments are laid out differently, so you're going to want to look and find the dipstick that says oil on it. In my case, this vehicle actually has a sticker right here on the cowling that has a picture of an oil can and the dipstick, so I know exactly where it's at. Just going to pull the dipstick out. Look at it. And I like to keep one of these stuck in here so I have it all the time. Wipe it off and stick it back in again. Make sure it goes all the way in. Pull it out, and now you're going to look at the dipstick. And if you look at the dipstick, there's some crosshatches on there, and you want to make sure that your oil is within those crosshatches. If it's not, that means it's low or it's high. So if it's low, you want to make sure that you add oil to it. And your vehicle most likely is going to have a cap where you add the oil. And on that cap, it's going to tell you what type of oil, what weight of oil. So in this case, this one uses 5W20. 5W20 is becoming more and more common to use, so you should not have a hard time finding it. There are many other versions, 5W30, 10W30, 550, many out there. So just make sure that you look at what your engine requires, because if you put the wrong oil in there and run it for any length of time, it's going to cause you problems and could potentially damage your engine. The next thing that you're going to do is you want to check your antifreeze. Your antifreeze has a tank, and it usually looks like it's got a greenish color to it, greenish hue. So if you look at the side of the tank, you'll see there's a line on there. It says full cold, and as long as the engine's cool and it's at that line or slightly above, you're good to go. Another thing that's important, especially with all the bugs as you're driving, is your windshield washer fluid. Typically has a little picture on the top of it that looks like a windshield and a little dotted line with spray. In mine, it's right up here, and this is where you're going to add, during the summer you can put water in there. It's not going to clean as good, but you can buy the windshield washer fluid typically $2 pretty much anywhere you go. If you get special stuff, it can cost $3 a gallon. You want to make sure you have that along with you. Now, something that a lot of people fail to check is their transmission fluid. This is an important thing to check because that's what makes your car move. So in order to check your transmission fluid, just like your oil, you want to make sure that your car is on a relatively flat surface. And transmission fluid is different in that you need to run the engine And as the engine's running and warms up the fluid, then you need to go through all of your gears, put it back into park, and once you're in park, then you're just going to do the same dipstick type of a check, but this dipstick will say trans fluid on it. And it's typically a lot longer. Sometimes they are short, but most of the time they're longer. And it's got the same type of a thing here where it has cross hatches to indicate perfect level. So I'm just going to take it out, wipe it off, put it back in again, pull it out, and check and make sure you're within the cross hatches. And I am, so we're good to go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to check the air in the tires. This is something you should be checking on a monthly basis, and we're going to do that right now. So all you're going to do is you're going to take this cap off, just unscrews, make sure you don't lose it. And the reason I like this one is because I can just push it right on as opposed to having to use my thumb and push it on. So you just push it on, hold it for a sec, and then you're going to look and see what the gauge reads. In this case, it reads 34. And an important thing that I should have had you check first is what air pressure you should have. Now, all the cars are going to have a sticker on the inside of the door. It's going to tell you the tire pressure that you should have as well as the size of the tires. In this one, and in most cars, it is on the driver's door, right on the jamb here, and you'll see the sizes and the air pressure that is required. Now, if you have custom wheels, different sizes, things like that, you're going to have to go with the tire recommended pressure. So if your air pressure is low, one of the things that you should have with you is an emergency air pump. If you don't, then you should have Fix-A-Flat or one of the other green slime. There's any number of types of fix on the road types of sprays. Now, before you go on a trip, what I would recommend you doing is to have your oil change if you're coming close to when you need it. And every 3,000 miles, 6,000 miles at most, you also want to change your air filter. So when you go on your trip, not only are you going to have a trip that is comfortable, you're not going to hopefully break down, definitely not going to break down for any of these reasons, but you're also going to get the best gas mileage possible for that trip. So these are just a few of the quick things you want to check yourself. One of the things that you can do also is then go into any one of the auto stores, and they will do a battery check for you. Battery checks are really good to have done because the right ones will be done with a load tester. So you'll know if your battery is actually holding a charge and actually has enough power to keep your car cranking. If you have a voltmeter and you know how to use it, your battery should be reading above 12 volts. It should be reading anywhere from 12.25 to maybe 12.75, somewhere in that range, but above 12 volts. If you're not reading 12 volts, chances are your battery is getting weak and maybe ready to fail you. So you don't want to have 12 volts on your battery or less than 12 volts. So that's about it for now. I hope you have a safe and fun summer and you have a great trip. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see the newest videos. You're going to have a lot more to do with the car, especially on the trips, because you're going to have to learn how to change a tire, know where your jack is, because if you're out in the country and you don't have cell service, you're not going to be able to call somebody to come out and change your tire for you. So you need to know how to do that yourself, and we're going to cover that next. So hope you have a great day, and Grandpa Jim is signing off here. don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.